I love superhero movies. I always have. Ever since I watched The Dark Knight for the first time all those years ago, I've been entranced by the unique worlds and characters and incredible powers that all these superheroes possess. But I have a confession to make. Despite how much I love superhero movies, in recent years I've really started to dislike a certain aspect of them. Don't get me wrong, I still love most of these movies for their incredible action and great humor, but I feel as if almost every recent superhero movie released has been failing to truly impress me. It's been really confusing me for the longest time because I couldn't pinpoint what it was that was bothering me. But I think I finally figured out what the problem with superhero movies is. Here it goes. Superhero movies should never simply be a movie about a superhero. I know. What I just said probably makes no sense whatsoever. But hear me out, because I swear I have a point to make. If you're watching this right now, I want you to think about what you think is the greatest superhero movie ever made. Is it The Dark Knight? I personally think so. Is it Logan? Spider-Man 2? I think most of us can agree that those movies are legendary in many regards. And do you know why? Because if you take these movies and you strip away all the superhero action and costumes and superpowers and stuff, the central theme in all these movies is something that is relatable and complex and, most importantly, has nothing to do with being a superhero. This is just my opinion, so you can disagree if you want, but the superhero aspect of all superhero films should always act as a kind of metaphor, and it should just be a coat of paint that sits on top of an actual thought-provoking story. At its core, the story of Spider-Man isn't about a guy who gets bit by a spider, then gains super strength and starts beating up criminals, but rather a story about a young man learning about the role that he needs to play in the world due to his moral responsibility to help others. Iron Man isn't a story about a guy who builds an awesome suit to blow up tanks with, but rather a story about a privileged man recognizing his own wrongdoings due to his ego and working towards helping people who are underprivileged, and so on and so forth. The best superheroes are always the ones that are the most relatable to the average person, and the ones which tell the most relatable stories. That's what made comic books so brilliant in the first place. Even though they were filled with action and flashy visuals and monologues and one-liners, they held deep stories within them that little kids could learn a lot from without even realizing it. Superhero movies act the same way, but in recent years we've seen a shift away from that, and this is mainly due to Marvel Studios. I want to say for the record that Marvel has done something really incredible that shouldn't have been possible by making the superhero movie genre mainstream, because there was a time when superhero films were straight garbage, yet Marvel somehow found a way to change up the formula and perfect it so much that now everyone knows about superheroes, and we have so many films coming out each year that consistently do great in the box office and with critics. However, they've lost something special about them as a result. Most of these new superhero movies like Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Avengers don't really have any good central theme to them. Yeah, if you think about them long enough, you can come up with some sort of message that they have, but none of them tell us anything groundbreaking or memorable. The last Marvel movie that I remember that had that was Black Panther. And do you know why? Because it had a good villain. I'm just going to say this right now to get it out of the way. Thanos is a good villain, but only if you compare him to all the other Marvel villains that we've had. And that's not really saying much. If you want to have a good central theme to a superhero movie, a good message that will make people think long after they've left the theater, then the most efficient way to do that is to have an antagonist that actually forces the main character to change their perspective in some way. Yeah, Killmonger might not have been the most morally complex villain, and almost everyone can agree that he was too extreme, but he still had a point of view that caused T'Challa to change his own position by the end of the movie. And that's how you know you've made a good superhero film. Black Panther, at its core, has nothing to do with superheroing. The central theme of that movie is about privilege and how living a comfortable life makes people neglect those who are suffering and makes them forget the responsibility that they have. By the end, T'Challa recognizes this responsibility and agrees to use the resources of Wakanda to make the world a better place. That is a good superhero movie. But when I think about all these other movies like Ant-Man and Endgame, even though they're thoroughly enjoyable films with great humor and incredible action, there's not much else to talk about after those movies have ended. The superhero beat the bad guy. End of story. But did we actually learn something important about our own world? Did the villain's motivations make us question the heroes? If not, then the superhero movie has failed at doing the one thing that the comics were so great at doing, making us learn an important lesson about the world around us and about ourselves as people. And that, in my opinion, is the biggest problem with superhero movies. In this day and age, with the success of the superhero franchise, we need to start demanding better films rather than these quick one-shots that will be fun for the 2 hours that they last, but won't make us look back when it's over. In short, we need to end this fast food style of making movies and instead need to start demanding some restaurant level movies that are more personalized, more thoughtful, and ultimately leave us with more interesting themes and ideas. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, hit the like button, and if you didn't, hit the dislike button. Just be honest, that's all I ask. And if you disagree with me on my perspective of what a superhero movie needs to be, let me know in the comments below, because this is just my opinion and I'm open to listening to yours. If you want to see more gaming and movie related videos, be sure to subscribe. Thank you once again for watching my video. This is Lil Brownie, out.